Let's take a look at shares of Rivian. They're trading to the upside, up nearly 5% after reporting earnings. The company reporting a better than expected revenue, $661 million. Also, a narrower than expected loss. The company also says that it's on track to deliver 50,000 vehicles this year. We want to bring in Jordan Levy. He's Truist Securities equity research analyst. Jordan, it's good to see you here. So the street seems to like this report. What's your first take?
Yeah, I think so. And I think what it comes down to is, look, we already knew what the production and the delivery numbers were for the quarter. How is spend trending for the company? Because when it comes down to it, investors want to see the company is spending less, having a lower cash burn rate, and hitting their production targets. And I think Rivian gave us that.
Anything, though, just in terms of what the potential or what the next few months could potentially look like for Rivian, given the fact that some consumers are beginning to pull back on spending? How big of a risk is that for Rivian?
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the big focus into the earnings call coming up is, they no longer provide the order book numbers specifically, but what is demand doing? What are they seeing in terms of trend for their order book? And they have a pretty extensive runway at last quarter's earnings in terms of backlog to work through. We're going to look for signs that that's continuing to be strong and that demand is continuing to trend up. Now, it's a brand that's in the process of building, so I think that plays in their advantage.
Jordan, you've reduced your price target a couple of times, cut it to 28 from 44 bucks a share. After this report, are you more optimistic on Rivian, or I guess what is that catalyst that would make you a little bit more optimistic going forward?
Yeah, sure. I think it's all a game of execution at this point. We want to see them trending toward hitting their numbers. We want to see that ramp in production go as planned, and we want to see demand holding strong. So we're looking for all of those signs. But certainly, the macro conditions being what they are, every step that they can show that production is on trend, given some of the supply chain issues they've had, I think is a big positive for the name.
Yeah, Jordan, speaking of the supply chain issues, they did reaffirm the production numbers like we were talking about. Their plans to build 50,000 vehicles. Where do those supply chain snags, have those been resolved? And some of those operational challenges, where does that all stand today?
Yeah, so I think what Rivian has talked to previously is the power semiconductor availability being sort of the gating factor in their ability to ramp production. And it seems, based on some conversations we've had, that that's trending in the right direction. I don't think by any means it's completely resolved, but certainly Rivian is doing some things internally in terms of new technologies they're rolling out that improves that and their ability to achieve those targets. And it seems like those are working for now.
We also know that they've made some moves to cut some of their costs here, and a move that a number of players within their space and really across the board are making in this challenging time. When you take a look at the moves that they have done, are further cost-cutting measures necessary, do you think?
I think the plan they've laid out so far is sort of the plan they need to get to that 2024 positive gross margin target they've laid out. And I think really at this point, it just comes down to executing and getting those steps in order and making sure that they trend in the right direction there.
Their electric last mile delivery van that they have in partnership with Amazon, how big of a boost do you really see this being to their business? And I guess what have you made of that partnership just in terms of Rivian getting their name out, their brand out, making it more recognizable on Main Street?
Yeah, I think it's huge, and it's really one of the underlying parts of our bull thesis on Rivian. And really, if you look at some of their competitors, commercial segments, that's where there's been a lot of strength recently. And not only does it help them sort of build out brand recognition by seeing Rivian's delivery vans on the road in partnership with Amazon, but also the technology and the data that it affords them by having the ability to accumulate so many miles from the delivery drivers that are on the road and leverage that data for their broader software and landscape.
All right, Rivian shares on the move following these better than expected results here from the EV maker. Jordan Levy, great to have you, Truist Securities equity research analyst.